Hello there, welcome to the channel, welcome back perhaps, hopefully. Well, after our bit of a fuzz fantasy with the 3 different fuzz pedals, we've got something a little bit unusual for you, a little bit messy perhaps. We like a good bit of mess every now and then, don't we? So, having been through those fuzz pedals, we've decided that we are very happy with the Jackson Audio modular fuzz, and we're going to keep developing that approach. We have got a second fuzz module on the way, and we plan to have the fuzz page Mark II and the goat head modules set up in the 2 different channels of the signal blender, so that we can have some dry signal in there as well. The other thought that we had, oh, by the way, we also have our float here. After having that work out very nicely for us, we are going to be using that as standard now. But that's not for today, at least not right now. Given the fact that both of our fuzz pedals are going to be in the signal blender so that we can mix in dry signals, we were giving some thought to what other pedals might go interestingly in those loops. And the KMA machines is one that I've spoken about before and have mentioned that it's actually... Just noticed that I missed one of my nails. There's no sparkle on that nail. I'll have to sort that one out another time. Hopefully that doesn't ruin the video for you. One of the pedals that we've talked about quite a bit before is the KMA Machines Horizont, and one of our problems with it being that it, while having a great many uses and having some really interesting weird things that it can do, also very much has its own tone, and it does tend to take away some of the lovely sounds that you can get from having a pure dry signal going in there. So we were thinking that one way to deal with that would be to have it in an effects loop, so that it could not take away all of the tone. So why not have it in an effects loop after the fuzz? That way, if it does affect the tone of the fuzz, we're still getting dry signal. We can set the pedal to compensate for that, but we won't be missing the richness the dry signal brings. So it would kind of like be its own thing. Now, we do have the fuzz page Mark II still in here. That is what we will be using. We will set up the goat's head in the other one. So yeah, that strong tone through the KMA Machines Horizont. It may work out better with the goat's head. We don't know. This is a little bit of a test run. The other one that we're very keen to try out is the hologram electronics dream sequence. This is a pedal that we got quite early on in our experimentations with pedals, where we wanted to be able to drop the normal clarinet that we were using at the time, not the contrabass, down an octave. And it also has this hold function, so that was something we wanted to experiment with. So this is a pedal that, similar to the Horizont, even with 100% dry signal, does affect the tone, it seems, somewhat, when the pedal is engaged. But it also has a really interesting drive tone. And from having recently been working with the Shields blender, there's the octave switch that's got, which is not the octave up, it's actually an octave down, which gives the the dry signal a really interesting synth-like quality. Very similar also to something that is in the what's it called? The Pi Fuzz for bass that we, the Electro-Harmonix Deluxe Pi that we worked with. So we were thinking that that might be another interesting thing. This has got an octave down. We've got a few things that we want to try out with the dream sequence. So that's the name of the game today, is to try something before and after Fuzz, because we want this to go before Fuzz. Now, let's see where this goes, because we're basically planning to just noodle around and have some fun. So we've got our usual samples here. So we'll take out the float for now, and we will give you a taste of just the sample through the fuzz. We have been noticing, and I think this is a problem with having so many pedals, that we could probably do with a buffer here, and we're not gonna try that at the moment, because we're just messing around and having some fun. So here is the sample. We may need to add some volume there, so let's see. There we go. That's more what we're used to. Okay, so let's dive in. And first of all, I do think I want to play with the dream sequence. So let's have a look. First of all, with some very simple things. At the moment, I've got it switched to no shift. So here's our sample again, and I think that's 100% correct, but let's see by adding in the drive. There we go. It's quite a nice effect. Forgot to add the float back in before. Here we go. So some drive pre-fuzz. Also, let's try the tone now. not such a big effect. Let's see how it goes with the drive turned off. I mean, that's quite nice. Yeah. Okay, I am starting to suspect that that's the tone. That's the tone that is closer to dry. So in other words, we're closing a filter when we bring it this way. It's been a while since I've used the dream sequence, and I did have a bit of a warm-up play with it before, but anyway, having it just be the drive and the tone is pre-fuzz, that is very nice. There's some great sounds there. Now let's play around a little bit. It's worth noting that we've got it 100% wet here, if our memory is correct. Yeah, that makes sense. But we've also got the dry signal here. So yeah, there's a lot of things that we could play with here, and I think that this could very easily be a video all on its own. However, let's look at some of these other functions. So like let's leave the drive and tone. I tell you very quickly, I just want to play with the tone on its own. Yeah, that's definitely fully open. So. Yeah, you can hear how they're that is closing the tone, but you can hear how the tone of the dream sequence is. It's not the same as when it's disengaged. So the what am I trying to say? Even with tone all the way open, we can hear a difference. Like the sound of the pedal is not not the same as the dry sound that's coming through. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's try one more thing. There we go. Yeah, you can hear how just the sound of the pedal. Okay, a little confusing. I think it's because it's been such a while since I used this pedal. It could be that the drive and the tone are on the dry signal as well. So I'll be quite honest, I don't know which side is full wet or full dry on the pedal yet, but we will probably be able to tell that in the next section. So what we're going to do for now, we're going to turn drive off and we're going to fully open the tone. We will come back to that because the next section will be quite revealing, I think. So here's our sample. first thing we're going to do is just go to random mode. The speed of which is controlled here. Okay. I think that I've misunderstood this. It's not a wet-dry mix. It's a dry mix. So it's how much of the dry tone is included along with the sound of the pedal. Okay, great. So in other words, it's the same as this. But what a great effect. I mean, I really like that. Let's have another listen. There we go, that's making more sense now. Lovely, lovely. That's great. Very interesting. Okay, super cool. So then we've got back to no shift there for the time being, and we're just going to have a look at these things, which is for these things what we've got is just an octave up, a straight octave up, and of course we can blend in our dry mix there, our dry signal, an octave down, and both. So I'm starting to remember, I think, or at least figure out in some ways, this is like a drive pedal with an octave sequencer attached to it. Very nice. Let's try these guys then and see how we feel about these. We're going to keep some dry mix in there, and let's see where it goes. We'll turn the drive off for now and the tone open. Here we go. So interesting, just the conflict of the octaves there. What an interesting effect. Oh, this is delicious. Okay, that's super interesting and fun and enjoyable. One of the things that is very interesting for us about doing this project with clarinet is that we often bemoan the fact that the tone that is coming out of the intramic is like a microphone tone. It's not from magnetic pickups like a guitar. So you don't get, it's not the purity of tone that you get from a guitar that then can be effected. It's one of the reasons that boosts, overdrives, distortions didn't work as well for us as fuzz, at least this is our working theory, because the signal was already distorted. It already just like by boosting it or distorting it, it just made it louder. We didn't get any like tonal difference because the tone was already distorted coming out from the microphone. So we bemoan that fact, but it seems that with something like this we can actually turn that to our advantage by adding in this octave up, this octave down, as we might see. there's a certain je ne sais quoi, a certain way that we seem to be able to add internal interest using these octave effects. Okay, let's move on. Hold on. Let's move on to an octave down. Back to no shift. Reset the drive and the tone. Bit of dry signal in there. Okay. Love it. I mean, we don't even need the random shifting. Brutal. I love it. And we're not even using the random. Here's the random. Down. I don't think shape is relevant here. Ooh, that's great. So much richness there. Okay, both. I think we definitely like some dry in there. This has been lovely. I'm very happy to have thought of this and to be bringing this into the equation. Now, we've been looking at mainly these guys here, which are very set things, except for the random, of course, which I love it. I love it. But we can also look at factory presets and saved presets. So this here will show us the rhythm that is coming up. I'm going to set a nice slow tempo. And let's go to factory presets. You can see how these are the presets here. I think we can roll back this a little. I mean, such interesting ideas. And of course, with this saved bank here, you can actually input them before. I remember having a great deal of fun with that before. Wow. Yeah. But I wonder how effective they will be. Let's see. Also, we can change the shape of these. Let's have more of a square wave for now, so that it's clearly defined. But we can change that. So for now, I'm going to just go with this. And we'll see how that sounds. Okay, exciting stuff. No dry mix for now. Interesting. More of a envelope way. Yeah, very interesting. Okay, let's try some other patterns. Beautiful. More of a square wave, maybe. Try a different one. The drive at least for that one. Okay, let's try. Interesting. Very interesting. Next one. That's interesting. Nice with that. Now I've just noticed that we've still had this subdivision thing in this area. I'm going to bring it back here. There we go. So we can actually make it . know it's a subdivision of the tap tempo, but I don't see it making a huge difference right now. Okay, we're not going to worry about it. Let's continue with the last couple of these patterns. Interesting. Okay, we're back to random now. And of course, one last thing that we still haven't looked at is the hold function. So let's give that a little try and see where that takes us. Absolutely fascinating. Well, looking at that as like an octave, I mean, essentially it's like an octave fuzz, right? I mean, we've got an octave circuit in the Jackson Audio modular fuzz itself, but we do want to be able to use that effectively. Like, we want to have a good setting for that, so that, you know, basically everything is being put to good use. And I mean, combining that with that is an incredible idea. However, looking at this as basically the octave circuit before a fuzz, where you know, there's this octave sequencing, but there's also a drive and a tone knob, and, you know, like the random things, the actual pre-programmed patterns, being able to choose the shape of that and the tempo. That's just a lot of options there, not to mention the hold as well. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we could, you know, like, for example, holding something that's in the octave down position and then being able to play over the top, you know, like, that's yeah, amazing. Well, that was a fun little experiment. Now let's move on to the Horizont and see where that takes us. And who knows, we may even get to combining the two before and after the fuzz. Okay,